Okay, one more question. As you mentioned mind, what connect body and my real self. Don't understand how and what connect mind to my real self. Observing the moments and sensation in the body and sees it follows the coming from mind, and as I am more aware of this body, I am more close to my real self. What connects mind with my real self and what am I in my real self? See, your question in itself is just telling me how confused you are. One point you say, I observe, then you say, my mind observe, then you say, how I connect to myself, then you say, what connects the mind with the real self, and then you say, when I am in my real self. There are too many I's and too many real selves, and too much confusion over here. When you see observing the moments and sensations in the body, and it's all happening from the mind, and I feel more close to my real self. You didn't get it. You didn't get the idea. See, the problem is, what you know, I is the reflected I and not the real I, number one. What you sense and feel through mind is being actually still felt by this illusion, by this reflected I only. See, if I bring a mirror here, there will be reflection of my face in the mirror. So there is a reflected face and then there is a real face. This reflected self is called the individual soul, jiva, and the self, the real self, is different from this reflected self. Now, when you say, my mind is watching it, are you talking from this reflected self? Are you talking from the real self? Now let me put it like this. If I move, now, is the cloth moving or hand moving? Who is moving? Hand moving. Cloth is not moving. आंखें ठीक करा. हाथ हिल रहा है कि कपड़ा हिल रहा है? अच्छा, इधर हाथ नहीं हिलाऊं तो कपड़ा भी नहीं हिलेगा. अब ये कपड़ा समझ लो मन है, ये हाथ समझ लो कह रही हूं, इट इज एन एग्जाम्पल. हाथ समझ लो तुम हो. कौन सा तुम? रिफ्लेक्टेड वन. यहां दोनों एक हो गए ना, दोनों एक हैं. इधर हाथ हिला तो कपड़ा हिला. मन हिला नहीं. मन अपने आप तो जड़ है. मन का समझना सोचना सब तब होता है जब मन को मेरी ऊर्जा मिलती है. जब मैं इस मन में हूं तभी मन के द्वारा सोचना समझना हो सकता है. गहरी नींद में मन कुछ सोच समझ नहीं सकता है, क्योंकि उस समय पर ऐसा समझो ना कि शीशा का ये जो फ्रंट है यहाँ तो रिफ्लेक्शन बनता है, पर शीशे की जो बैक होती है उस पर थोड़ी ना रिफ्लेक्शन बनती. तो गहरी नींद में मन कहो उल्टा हो गया, तो जो रिफ्लेक्शन मेरी पड़ रही थी अब नहीं पड़ रही. इसलिए जब गहरी नींद हो रही होती है तब मालूम नहीं चलता है कि गहरी नींद हो रही है. जब नींद टूटी, मन उठा, ये फिर रिफ्लेक्शन बनी, और फिर हम कहते हैं स्मृति किसकी? तो भाई गहरी नींद बड़ी अच्छी आई, वहां सोचने समझने वाला मन बुद्धि तो नहीं था, तो फिर कैसे पता चला नींद अच्छी आई थी? अभी प्रॉब्लम क्या है? दिस आई विच इज द रिफ्लेक्टेड आई, you are considering this as I, and now all the knowing happening through the mind, now you want to see this reflected I as a Sakshi, but Sakshi is not this reflected I. Knowing of the mind cannot happen on its own until I am in it, I am with it. Because I am the conscious and mind is just inert. But this reflected I is not Sakshi, is not the witness, is not the real Atman. There the confusion goes. I am watching, or mind is watching, or real self is watching. Who is watching? When you say mind is watching, mind cannot function without the reflected self. But when mind is not watching anything, even then the mind is being watched by the witness, the Sakshi. But the Sakshi cannot speak that I am watching. To speak, this mind is required and the tongue is required. The reflected self is not the real self. But the real self, no body, no mind, no sense organs, no antakaran. How will this real self talk? It needs a tongue. Okay, you do, Anupa. You speak, but don't use the tongue. Don't use the ears, but listen. Are ears listening? Or is the mind listening? Or the individual soul, the pratibhasit self, is that listening? Who is listening? There's somebody who is unconscious, has the ears. You speak in that ear. Will that person know? No. Why? Has he gone deaf? Ear is there. Forget about the unconscious person. If somebody is sleeping, you speak in it, not that loud that he wakes up. Let the person sleep, but you speak in his ear. Will that person listen? No. Forget about sleep. The person is just lost in thinking. Call his name, will he listen? To listen, what we need is, the mind should be with the ears. Minus the ears, you cannot listen. If somebody is deaf, definitely cannot listen. But if you have ears, but your mind is lost, you cannot. But when you say, I am listening, technically speaking, it is the ear which is listening. Or should you say, the brain is listening? Or should you say, the mind is listening? But very smartly at that time you say, I am listening. So one moment you become ear, one moment you become mind, one moment you say, I am Sakshi. So you have khichdi. Khichdi is very good for health, but this jnana khichdi is of no use. Who is watching now? See, all the Buddhist traditions are talking this, be mindful, be mindful, be mindful. without understanding one major point, what Patanjali Yoga Sutra talks about, and that is, if mind is full, then full means memories in it. And if you are lost in your memories, would you know where you have kept your lid onto the glass or onto the table? Huh? When you are lost, you say, okay, done. And then somebody says, what did you do? You say, what did I do? You say, look, oh, sorry. The sorry is telling that your mind was filled with some memories, or some future projections, or some thinking, some emotion has clouded your sense to see, clouded your sense to hear, clouded your sense to talk. And that's why people keep on saying, I didn't mean that. You give them a slap and then say, I didn't mean that. What is that nonsense? They just speak anything. Some deep down subconscious anger gets an outlet and the person says harsh words. But then the intellect comes in, oh, he's your boss. You were not supposed to be. He'll kick you out. They say, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. And that is why when the husband and wife is having a fight, actually they hate one another. But they mask it with love and mask it with affections, but someday that lid goes off and comes flying abuses. And then they have a bad quarrel. And then they get angry. And after a few days they wonder, oh, children, oh, house, debt, so many things. So it's better I apologize. They say, oh, I didn't mean that. Oh, I love you so much. But why did you say that? Why did you say that? See, women come with a great memory. They never forget anything. And poor husband wonders, now she's being mad on me for what? For what? Was it her birthday? Was it her mom's birthday? Was it her dog's birthday? What am I missing? Was it the marriage anniversary? And then he musters courage and asks, but can you tell me why are you angry? She says, see, you don't even love me, you don't know why I am upset. I have to tell you, what's the use? No, please tell me. Please tell me. He said, do you remember when we went to Mr. Sethi's party? He said, when did we go? 4 months back. You don't remember? I wore blue-colored sari. And you made fun of me by saying to your friend, she's looking like a peacock. He said, but that was a compliment. No, peacocks have ugly feet. And the husband is wondering, I don't even remember what I ate in a lunch. And she's expecting me to remember what I did 4 months back in some party and just a loose comment done, having this loose talk with the friends. The woman, it's horrible to be with the woman. My sympathy with all men. Seriously, I'm really sympathizing them. And men, out of their sheer ego, they do blunder after blunder. They are no good. They are no good at all. Their egos are so big and their sex drives are so strong and their greeds are so big and they are so big show-offs that they don't even, pay attention whether that is offending his wife or whether he's being nice and sensitive to her or not. Actually, both have different brain zones. So they are working. One is from left hemisphere, one from the right hemisphere. And the bridge right there is in the brain, but in relationship there is no bridge. Sometimes the children are the bridge. And then one child was saying to me, can I divorce my father? I said, what? He said, when wife and husband can divorce one another, why can't I divorce my father? I said, Father, he said, actually I want to divorce my mother also, but still she cooks for me, so it's okay. But I do want to divorce my father. He's a bad person. He drinks, he yells, he beats up. He's a bad person. Mind has always potpourri of emotions and memories, they are running there. So mind is actually too full. From Patanjali's point of view, the teaching should be empty your mind. Empty your mind, and that is what all yogic poems and bhajans come with this line, kill your mind. Kill your mind, man maro. सो जोगी जो मन को मारे, मन मारे आप बिचारे, सो जोगी. So mind, again I would repeat my own statement, mind is the obstruction. And the reflected self in the mind has been perceived as the real me. And that is not.